Last time we found out that using the Midnight Classic is the easiest way to set up your hydro system, but it is not the most effective. We are losing about 12 watts of power running through the Midnight Classic. Even though the Midnight Classic does make it easier, it does cost currently about $750. Now, the best way to go about setting up your hydro is to have the proper wheel. I'm still working on finding the correct size for my system. The one that's doing the best so far is this one here with 32 spoons. But this baby here runs about $400. And this 12 spoon Pelton is running about $45. So there's a huge difference in price. This one's giving us about $265. And with this 12 spoon Pelton, we're getting about 200 watts. Now, the other issue is battery voltage, which is what I'm working on. I'm shooting for about 24 volts with the most efficiency. I'm trying to get about 280 watts at 24 volts. And this time I want to find out what our power losses are when we make turns with our water line, including this T making a 90-degree turn. I want to find out if we have to ramp this or we can simply just make a turn with very little power loss. So let's head up to the hydro pit and run this test. And as we can see here, I can't get this any closer. It's as close as you can possibly get it without running into that wheel. Now we're gonna do a power test with A being on straight and B nozzle being on the 90-degree. We'll start with A. We'll bring it down to about 46 psi and we're running 74 watts. This is at 12 volts. That's the straight one. I'll try to see if we can get a little more out of it. And it looks like around 45 psi gives us the best. Close to 76. Now we're going to try the second one. Right there. Nozzle D. The 90-degree elbow. And the pressure on both of them seems to be the same, around 46. Now I'm going to swap the lines around to see if it's the nozzle itself or is the water lines. We're going to try A first, which is the one with the 90-degree. Last time, A was the one that did the best. And now we're doing A, and we'll set it to the 46. And we'll try to tweak it from there. So that's the best we can do, which is not that good. A is the one that gave us the best last time. And now is really second win, about 39. Around there. Both of them are doing bad. Anyway, let's see which one does better. As far as comparing them anyways, one versus the other. That is the best I can do with nozzle B. And the pressure seems to be the same on either one. It doesn't help when I leave the valve just like this. I eased it off and I never opened it all the way, so let's try that test again. Okay, now with the valve fully open, let's try it again. All right, we'll do A first, and 46 psi, no matter what, even if it was restricted here, 46 was the best pressure. That's 46 right there. We're doing about 75. Let's see if we can get a little more. That's nozzle A with the 90-degree elbow. Roll the T. Pressure about the same as always. 6 is the spot. Coming up to 90. Right here out the T. And it's going into our A here. So we're going to try the B and see if we improve them. Last time it was the A, the straight one that gave us the most power. Let's see if the straight one's going to give us more power here. Then it's 46. Nozzle B, straight. That's the best we can do. We got the same result. So in this case, with this 1.5 lines that I have here, this elbow is not making any difference. The most power we're getting out of it is always had nozzle A, which is this one. Nozzle B is showing us about 4 watts less. Now let me try both and see if we're able to get more power running both. And I'll open them at the same time, about the same amount. Turn. 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 So now we gotta back them up. Yeah, 26 psi right there. And we're not getting any better. I would say it's about the same. I mean, I can tell you it's hard to tweak since I'm working with 2 nozzles instead of 1. But it's about the same. I was doing better with a single nozzle. So running a single nozzle versus 2 nozzles with this Pelton wheel is not giving us any better. We're doing just the same. We got 2-inch line coming in, split it off to 2.5-inch lines, and the straight line versus the 90-degree line here is not making any difference. We're getting about 4 to 5 watt difference between the 2 nozzles, but it's related to the nozzles and not the 90. So with a water line as thick as this one, it doesn't matter as far as the elbow from this test anyways. I'll continue testing and doing the same thing with the other units to see if there's a difference, but right here it made no difference if I ran a 90 or not, at least with this T configuration here. Our 20 spoon Turgo is ready for testing. I got the 2 nozzles on here, the adjustable nozzles, the A and the B, the same ones we used in the previous unit. We'll start with A first, which is the one with the 90. We'll lift it up. I'm torquing it as hard. As hard as I can torque it up. Whoa, now I'm gonna get wet here. This case is just way too flexible. This is no good. And the thing just flexes very easily. Can't do really much of a test with this thing. These lines are putting a little pressure on there, but the housing is just flexing way too much to be able to compare it and to do a good test. I never knew that this thing was so bad. I mean, and now that this hose actually is putting a bit of pressure in there, this is a little more relaxed, but still, just the weight of the water itself is just causing it to flex. Maybe make a metal one. But for my system here, I still believe that this Turgo is too small. But this thing is no good. This is just, I mean, if you got to make sure that if you have one of these, you support this quite well and try to find the best place. And it looks like the higher it is, the better the speed. Now the 32 spoon Turgo is ready with both adjustable nozzles in place. And this is my hydro pit and my drain with a screen. Goes into a 4-inch line that goes back to the creek. Here we have adjustable nozzle B with a 90-degree elbow. Now we have straight, same one, the B, and we'll see what it does here. Okay, maybe. But since we have a chart control, that's what really makes it really tricky to figure out. The chart controller, if it applies .41 volts, we are currently running at about 72 dB. We're outside the house right here, just above the hydro pit. It's right there, just on the other side of that tin. And if you listen carefully, you'll be able to hear the hydro running. Barely. And that's just tin right there. There's an open hole there, which I need to put in a foundation like I done with the rest of the building here. And the cicadas are way louder than my hydro. So we'll walk in here in this area. And this particular setup, which is the 32 spoon Turgo, is running around 72 dB, about 10 inches away from the unit itself. So it's quite quiet. And this are tin and an open hole right there. So as far as noise, this is really, really nice. Not much difference having the elbow there, and that's I just wanted to know how critical it was. I mean, if anything, it's about the same, maybe a watt, maybe. We don't really know for sure, since we have the charge controller with things around a little bit, trying to get more power out of it. So I'm going to try the other one, and then I'm going to try both of them together, see if we're able to get more power with two versus a single one. Adjustable nozzle A with the straight direct. The B nozzle seems to always give me less power than this A nozzle. It's got to be just probably the way it's molded. The nozzle, the front of the nozzle is molded. About as good as it's going to get. I will put the elbow in there and see if it gets worse. Okay. Okay, so the nozzle should be set the same way, and we'll open it up and see what it does. This is nozzle A, actually. This is the one that gave me good readings before. I don't know, maybe it's slightly off. It's not tweaked properly. Doing a little sweep right there. And it's telling me that it should be able to extract more power out of it. I mean, a little better. And that's with the elbow. This is always a little tricky to test when you have this gadget dancing around with your voltages. So I'm going to try both to see if it will get any better. The contraption's assembled. We'll try both. One and a half turns. 1.5 turns. Both of them are about 1.5 turns out. I don't think it's going to do any better. Pressure's too low. I don't think we have enough water here to supply both nozzles. These nozzles are kind of large, and open them up slightly. The jet pattern is not nice. It's not smooth. So I'm getting about, trying to run both nozzles, I'm actually losing around between 20 to 30 watts. My 2-inch water line is not enough to feed these two large nozzles. Maybe if I had smaller nozzles, 2 might work better. But with smaller diameter nozzles, not with this thing. These things are just too big. I'm talking about the design, the actual output and the tip of them. It's designed for much more water flow than I have here. That is the best I'm able to get, running 2 nozzles, which is less power than a single nozzle. I'm running both blue nozzles, and it's actually worse for this water line. So if I close this one, my power dropped. But by adjusting this one, I'm already at 250, 30 watts. And as soon as I open this one here to help, as soon as I open it, since I lose pressure, my pressure drops slightly out of this one. The power drops. And that is with a single nozzle. It's the bed nozzle of the 2. even though it's running through that T and that 90 bend there. And this is the nozzle B, and that's the one that's doing better. I'll try to do the other one again and see what it shows. And that's the best I'm doing with the other nozzle. That's with the nozzle A. The best I can do, even though it's running straight. There's this one here. It's a straighter shot. It's got a slight bend there that much, but this is the one showing nozzle A. Just a little less power. Okay, so I think we're done with the test here. You're shaking your tail. Don't be striking me. Why are you striking me? Are you a bad snake or a good snake? I can't tell. You might be a bad snake. You might be a bad snake. Yeah, you're getting ready to strike, aren't you?